John, good to see you.
Yep.
Gareth Southgate gave you your debut 8 years ago for England, and Lee Carsley's kind of short spell aside, he's all you've ever known as England manager, so this is a new era, a new start. In what ways is it different, do you think, under Thomas Tuchel so far?
Yeah, it'd be different, but you know, we've only had one training session with him and got new keeper coach Hilario's in as well. So yeah, there's going to be change. You're going to have to get Hilario will have his own ideas as a coach, as a goalkeeping coach, and yeah, it's just about stepping your foot on the gas early doors as a player and showing them what you can do.
I mean, Dan Burn was just telling us about Thomas Tuchel's speech that he made last night, which was pretty inspirational from what Dan was saying. What can you tell us about it? What did he have to say to you? And Gareth used to do speeches like that as well. Did it feel different? Was it very different?
Yeah, obviously the managers come in and Gareth used to do it as well, but it's all about gearing up to the World Cup next year and being on that plane to the World Cup, and you know, first and foremost we need to qualify. But he wants the standards to be set early doors. This is camp one of the manager's era, and he wants the standards high set from day one, from yesterday, and he was really happy with how we were yesterday, and he wants us to continue that all the way up to the World Cup. We know we've got a qualifying group and want to finish top. That's our main goal, and be on that plane to go to the US next summer, and he wants us to be at our peak going to the US next summer. And yeah, it was very inspirational and, you know, demanding in the right way. But that's what we like as players, you know. He set the tone early doors, and we need to lead that as well.
It feels like you personally are in a very, very different kind of place now compared with the last England camp back in November. Everton were 4 points above the relegation zone then, 17 points ahead going into this international break. That's worlds apart, isn't it?
Yeah, normally the last couple of years has been a bit difficult. In positions we normally win 3 or 4 games on the bounce in April time, so it gets a bit sweatier. But no, we've had a new manager. Moyes coming back to the club, and we've been really good as a team. You know, we've been unbeaten in 8, and which is always nice. We've not tasted that defeat yet. We did against Villa, but we've not tasted that defeat in a long time, and we just need to continue that momentum. And it's definitely feeling a bit better now, but it's about pushing again and pushing as close as we can get up the table with 9 games to go. So yeah, it's definitely a better feeling, and the mood at Everton's a lot better. But you know me, I'm always the same Jordan, no matter if we're winning or losing. I keep level-headed, and I do my work on the training pitch, and I'm prepared right for club and country.
Thanks. Hi Jordan. There's 4 goalkeepers in this squad, so Thomas Tuchel looking at potential options. You've seen a lot as well, and there's only 24 training days. Dan said that Thomas Tuchel said to you. Does that make the World Cup feel closer, and does it really motivate you and let you dial in on the tournament?
Yeah, when you dissect it down, it is not much training time, but it's about what you do at club. You've got to perform at your club and be in good form at your club, and when you get picked for England each camp, you've got to show how good you are, and you've got to be at your best. I think that's something I've done for numerous years now, for 8 years, and yeah, it's about learning as well. Yeah, you've always got to learn when you're on the training pitch with this new manager coming in and the staff. There's going to be different ideas, and we've got to take it on board early, and which is something I'll do, and I think the rest of the lads will do as well. But it's about getting that togetherness early doors. The manager's come in and said about that camp 1 starts this week, and we've only got 6 camps till the World Cup. So it's about learning each time you're in the camp and improve as a team.
How do you stay on the edge to keep progressing? Do you look at the tournaments you've been to? This could be a 5th major tournament. Do you look at potentially 100 caps? What do you use to keep driving yourself on?
I've always been driven. I've always wanted to improve. You know, I always go on that training pitch to better myself every day. Always give 100% on the training pitch, and that just puts me ready for a match day. I'm always prepared for the match, and yeah, I'm so driven. And I think them targets and being at 4 major tournaments is always a great achievement. And I always want more and always push to get more. But I've got to keep improving day in, day out to get them targets, and something I drive for, and I think I'll achieve.
Okay, Carrie. Hi Jordan.
Thank you.
You've had some FaceTimes with Thomas Tuchel before this camp, and now you've had him in person. What's he said to you? I know you haven't had an actual training session tactics-wise, but what has he said, and with Hilario, about how he expects the style to adapt, what he wants? He's given us an idea, but from your perspective?
He's not really said too much recently. Obviously, it's only quite new. I think we'll do a lot more work on that today. And Hilario, the keeper coach, he will give us some more understanding and more ideas through video clips and through training as well. So, you know, it's early doors, but I think it's about HU's expression, like learn their language quite early, and the way they want to play as a goalkeeper and the style of play, etc. So I think that'll come in time. But like I just said there, it's about learning and adapting to the manager's methods early doors, which I feel I'm very good at.
What's been your takeaway about what he's talked about, Brotherhood, asking players to be more vocal on the pitch? You won't need much help with that. Something else?
Yeah, well, I'm good at that, aren't I? No, I think, yeah, the togetherness is key, and I think the manager will come in and see straight away how together we are as a squad. You know, new lads come in, they'll feel at home straight away. The togetherness is probably one of our main strengths. And every time I come away with England, I enjoy each day with the lads. You know, we train hard, but we also have fun off the pitch as well, and we always have togetherness. You know, the meal times where you sit there 45 to an hour, and just having a bit of crack with the lads. But yeah, I think that's key, and that'll drive us to be successful as well.
And have you spoken to Chelsea players about what it was that he did that got them to win the Champions League, or have you got that winning mentality from him? The reason they brought him into this job?
No, I've not spoken to any of the lads. Obviously, Harry had him last season, and he said he's very good and very driven and wants to win mentality. And I think everyone wants that as a footballer or involved in football. Everyone wants to win. So I think you can see the passion side of it he has. You know, when he's been in the Premier League and you see him with the players and that togetherness he likes to have with the players. So I'm very excited about the challenge coming upon us, and I think we've got a great manager to take us forward.
Jordan, hi. One more cap and you go ahead of Gordon Banks. Two more caps, you go alongside Joe Hart and David Seaman, and then there's only Peter Shilton ahead, you know, a fair bit ahead. But you're walking with giants. Do you think you're properly appreciated?
I think so, yeah. I think sometimes media talk, but I think every time I put on a England shirt, I've always performed, I've always stepped up to the plate, and I always take it in my stride. I think at club level as well, I think I've been very consistent over 4 or 5 years now, and you know, not getting old, I think it's not the word. I think learning about the game more, I think more maturity. You know, when I first burst onto the scene, I was still that young 23-year-old keeper coming, learning his trade a little bit, and now I've learned it. It's about maintaining how can I improve each day and being consistent in games, and I think I've done that over a number of years now, and I think that's why you say I'm level with Gordon Banks now, and 2 more caps till I've matched Joe Hart and David Seaman, and I've always looked up at Harty. You know, he was the number 1 when I was a young kid, and I've always wanted to be Joe Hart, so it'll be a great honour to get them 2 caps and push forward and get ahead of them.
Okay, any other question? David?
Jordan, if England get to the World Cup, you'll have been in the setup for a decade. So you've seen the sort of highs and lower points. And Dan Burn just spoke there before about, in Thomas Tuchel's speech last night, he emphasised the brotherhood and the togetherness and picking players up off the floor and high fives like in the NBA and that sort of thing making a difference before you then go on to talk about the tactical stuff, how he wants to play later in the week. From your decade, coming up to a decade, what do you think needs to make the difference now to go that tiny step further than you've already been?
I think the togetherness has always been there. I think it's definitely improved. I thought Gareth, when he came in, that was one of the things he set out early doors for the Russia World Cup, having that togetherness as a squad into the country as well. I think we've got that connection done right. Then it's just them fine details in both finals really. One was a set piece against Italy, which you know, they get the equaliser, then go and win on penalties. And the Spain one, I think the manager touched on it about having them interactions with the players on the pitch. We didn't have as many interactions on the pitch in the second half as we did in the first half, and that's where I think Spain dominated and we couldn't get up to them after that. You know, I know Coley scored the goal to get us back in the game, but they had that sustained pressure for more times than us, and we couldn't keep up with it really. I think that's what the manager's trying to say, and I think the togetherness will always be there. I think we've got a great bunch of lads and a great staff around us, you know, that do so much for us to be at our best and make our life so much easy when we come to tournaments, because we're away for that long, and it always feels like we feel at home when we come away with England, and it's about that next detail on the pitch, I would say.
And when you say those extra interactions in the second half, we obviously don't know if a Dan Burn or a Jordan Henderson will be on the pitch in the States if England get there, but when you see players of that age and experience come into the squad now, and you hear him speak last night, is the single track focus on lifting the trophy? It's not like you're bringing in a load of young players to plan for the next 10 years. It's very much a win now phase.
Yeah, we've been knocking on the door for a while now. We've been to 2 finals, a semi-final and a quarter-final, and it's about that next step now. We know what it takes to get there. It's about what it takes to lift the trophy, and this is what the manager's come in to do. And you know, we've got Dan Burns' first call up, which is a great achievement for him, but you've got Hendo with 80-odd caps, I think he's got, and he's got that winning mentality, what he's won at Liverpool as a player and a captain, and to have them leaders around the place. You know, the more leaders you have in the team, I think the more success they'll bring, and they'll drive training standards, they'll drive the standards around the place, and make it a better camp for everybody. So I think having like Hendo and Dan Burn in it's been great, and it's better for everybody else as well.
Yeah. Ali, next year. Thanks.
Hi, Jordan. Yeah, I was just wanting to ask a question about Jordan Henderson. You've obviously been involved with him at a lot of England camps, and the manager talked a lot about his qualities as a leader. I think from a fan's point of view, it can be difficult to see that from the outside, and it's hard for us to measure it as we're not inside the dressing room. Could you shed some light on, you know, specifically when it comes to Jordan Henderson, what does it look and sound like, this leadership, and what impact does it have on you personally, but also potentially on the younger members of the squad, less experienced?
Yeah, I think Hendo, obviously I've known him since the Sunderland days, and his desire to want to win, and what he has won and achieved is driven by himself. You know, he's a winner, and he's a big leader, and I think bringing Hendo back in is great for the squad. And he was vice captain for a number of years. You know, it didn't come to the last Euros, but he was vice captain 2018 to Harry, and I think someone like Hendo is great. I think if you look at for me, I think having leaders in your group, you know, the last 4 majors the teams that have won, they've always had that experience in the side as well, whether they've played or they haven't played. I think it's a great move for us to have in our squad someone like Hendo, because what he's done and how he's still driven, and whether he plays or not, he's going to be that leader on that training pitch, and he'll drive the sessions as well with the lads, and he's a great guy as well.
And obviously Dan and Jordan both from the northeast like yourself, the more northeast representation in the England squad, the better, right?
Yeah, it's growing, isn't it? Yeah, it's not too bad. You know, Dan, another great journey Dan's been on, you know, and I think he's done really well for Newcastle. He's been amazing for numerous years, and it's great to have him in the squad, and he's definitely earned his shot.
Cheers. If you pass the mic to John, but we'll go to Faye first there.
Hey Jordan, you okay?
Anthony, all right?
I'm good, thank you. Just building on the Jordan Henderson conversation, if you don't mind, how much of a miss was he, do you think, in Germany for you guys as a group?
Well, we got to a final. We didn't win it, so no, I think George's a great lad, and I think someone who's respected by all the players and the staff. And for that one, I don't think you'll ever know if he was a miss, because we got to the final. But something this manager, he's brought Endo in, and I know how much of a leader he is and how much he's respected. So I think it's only a good thing.
And how much of a change does it feel? How different is it having Thomas Tuchel as a manager? Are there like subtle changes?
There's been little changes, but we haven't done too much training yet, and we haven't had that much time together as a squad with the new manager. So I think that'll come in time. So we've got a good week ahead of us with 2 very good games, and he just wants to set his stall out early and win both games.
From what you've heard from Harry Kane and other players who've played under Thomas Tuchel, and then what you've seen obviously in the last 24 hours and the conversation you maybe had with him when you were called up again, what have you made of him? What are your first impressions?
Yeah, he wants to win. We all want to win, but he's got that desire to win. He's got that hunger to win and demand for us to win as well. Cheers.
John?
And similarly, what's it been like having Marcus Rashford back on the scene? I know it's only a year since he was in the squad, but how's he been?
I haven't done too much training yet. No, you know, Rash, he went on loan to Villa and he's done really well. You know, his goal contributions has been really good. I think watched a few of the games and he looks back to his best, and he's always been a top player. You know, and looking forward to work with him this week.
And just talking about Hilario, when you have a change of goalkeeping coach, how radical is that for you?
For me, it's good because I always want to learn. So every keeper coach you have, they're always going to have their own ideas. So Hilario's going to have his own ideas, and it's about how can I improve off his ideas to what I improved from Marge and Tim Dittmer in the last 3 camps, and it's all about improving myself. And so I've got to use my brain and listen to what he says, and how can I get better by what Hilario's putting on in sessions, and something I enjoy because there's always change in football, and it makes me a better goalkeeper.